Well, I've been doing some research and studying on relays. A relay is basically a mini contractor. It, you send power and negative to it, and it activates a switch to connect another circuit. So basically, it's like this. You got your 12 volt positive, goes to the 86 terminal. Got your 12 volt negative, goes to the 85 terminal. Oops. And you have it on a switch. That way, when power is activated to this, it activates, makes a connection between 30 and 87. So what I have in mind using it for is the charge meter on the motorcycle. Because as of right now, I got these little alligator clips that you have to clip onto the battery. Well, here, I'll show you. This is our charge meter. As of right now, I have these two leads that I clip the black one on the minus of the 36 volt battery pack, and the plus is where our fuse is over on the far side here. I'll let this through here and hook it up for you and show you. That's the power lead for our programmer. We're still waiting for that to be sent to us. Should be here any time now. Let's go over to the other side. So we have the negative lead hooked up. This is the positive lead. Hook them up. And it lights up our charge meter. Try to shade it here for you. There we go. And it's even on when the key is off. I would like it to be where you turn the motorcycle ignition on, and it turns on the lights and the turn signals and everything of the motorcycle, but it also turns on our charge meter. But this system is 36 volt and the bike is 12 volt, so we have to keep the two systems separated from what I understand. So let me unhook this. So back to our diagram. This is one of our relays. This is how it's laid out. So this would be the 12 volt, the separated battery that's on the motorcycle right now. Or later, if we go to a voltage converter, it'll still be hooked up like normal to the 12 volt power supply. And then this 3 batteries represents the 36 volt power supply to power the motor. So you'd have the positive of your 12 volt go to the ignition switch on the bike. And actually, I believe I can hook to the wire that used to be to power the coil, because that turns on and off with the key. So when you turn the key on, it connects the power from the battery to the 86 terminal of our relay. And then we also have the negative from our 12 volt power supply goes to the 85 terminal of the relay. So like I said, when the key is turned on and supplies power to 85 and 86, it connects 30 and 87. Because from our 36 volt plus, that's where we'd have that red lead hooked on the battery right now, where that fuse is. Or we'd have a solid wired 36 volt lead going to the battery right there. And that will go up to the 30 terminal on the relay. Then the 87 terminal would be that red lead, the positive lead going to the meter. Then the negative lead from the meter would just come down to the negative of the 36 volt battery pack. So this way, we turn the bike on, it turns this on, which turns the 36 volt on for the meter. But that way we have 36 volts separated from the 12 volts. Alrighty, to test our theory, so we've got this battery representing our 36 volt power supply, and this light will represent our meter. We've got them hooked to our relay. And this 12 volt battery will represent our 12 volt power supply on the motorcycle. So the negative from the motorcycle goes to the 85 terminal. That would be this fella right here. Same as in the drawing. This is the negative from the 12 volt power supply. The power, which will be switched from the motorcycle, but we're just using a wire, goes to the 86 terminal straight across. That will be this one right here. And then the power in from our 36 volt power supply going to the 30 terminal. That's the bottom one. That will be this fella right here. It goes up to the negative of our, or the positive of our 36 volt power supply. And then the top terminal, that's the 87, that goes to our meter. And the 87 will be this white one, which switches to blue, goes up to our light bulb representing our meter. So everything's hooked to the relay. This is the lead that's hooked to the 86 terminal. That would represent coming from our power supply. So when we touch our lead, it's like when we turn the key on the motorcycle, you can hear the relay clicking. As soon as I turn the ignition on or make contact, it turns the relay on, the relay turns the light on from the other power supply. And I turn the ignition off, it turns the relay off. The relay breaks the contact to the power supply. Back on, off. And actually I think we might be able to use the same concept with a second relay for the on-off switch for our speed controller. That way when we turn the motorcycle ignition on, it turns on the lights and turn signals and everything of the motorcycle. It will turn on our meter that's up on the dashboard, and it will also turn on the speed controller. That way when you're done, you shut off the ignition of the motorcycle, it shuts everything down. Well, that's the plan. We'll give this a try while we're waiting for our programming cord from Kelly.